all together for a rare time. We are recording, sitting at the same table.
It's been a while.
Too long.
Cam, you can't find your mic wire, so...
Yeah, unfortunately, one of the negatives about traveling and being able to do it together means that I forget things, so working with my laptop microphone, hopefully it isn't too bad, but see what I can do once we finish recording.
We'll see. Work your magic. I wanted to tell you guys, I don't think you've seen it yet. I did take the time to watch The Electric State, that new Netflix Russo brothers movie that supposedly costs like hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Ridiculous.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Budget.
And Marcus and McFeely wrote it, of Captain America and Avengers fame. And it's funny, it seems like every Russo brothers project since they left Marvel has been kind of like a
dud.
This was, I would sum this movie up, it was fun and enjoyable and terrible all at the same time. There was some good moments. It had some things that, it was a unique concept. I guess it's based on a book, robot dystopian. And Millie Bobby Brown's character was woefully underwritten. She was, the focal point. Chris Pratt's character was good. He was funny. Like, Anthony Mackie voices his robot sidekick.
I didn't know he was.
He's really great. Jason Alexander is in it. Stanley Tucci's the villain. There's a whole bunch of A-list actors that just sort of show up.
I was just going to say, it sounds like a great cast.
Yeah, really.
And are voicing it. And that's what I'd say. It's a great Saturday afternoon, hangover or just like hanging around the house movie to watch. And visually, it's great. It's got a lot of good effects. And like I said, it's like a really novel. And it's got this like sort of retro 90s futuristic sort of thing. Almost like Fallout in a way. So it was fun. But like there are parts of it where you're like, oh, this is really just like so paint by numbers and like cheesy dialogue. And then some parts of it are good and fun and funny.
I feel like that's kind of the norm now with these Netflix movies that come out. Like they're entertaining enough, but I haven't seen an amazing one in a long time, I have to be honest.
Well, it was even like the Gorge. Is it the Gorge that we just watched? Or...
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah. That was a hell of a lot better than this. But I think we might have just talked about that briefly. I watched it. You guys should definitely watch it.
I do want to see that.
That was excellent. But again, just around the edges, you can see where it's not quite like a theatrical release. Although, I mean, we go to plenty of theatrical releases. Yeah. Garbage. So.
Right. It's all kind of blending together now. And they'll switch over. Sometimes a theatrical release will get moved to Netflix and vice versa. So, kind of a mess.
Yeah. But we are here to talk about Heart Eyes, which we all went to see, planned to see, and then somehow, because of all the vagaries of life, we are like 4 weeks late getting together to react to it. But it was something that we were all looking forward to seeing. It is produced by the folks or the group or whatever. I don't know exactly who did what, but by the people who did Happy Death Day, and that among us is just universal. Yeah, that's one of my favorite horror.
That was really good.
Loved it
of the last decade because it was a fun, and Jessica Roth's performance. She was I can't believe that. Woman has not become a bigger star, but I think a lot of the things that she did, like right after that or right around that time, she just was in the wrong project.
Yeah, I haven't really seen her in much.
I haven't seen her in anything, but she was so good in that, and that was so great. The second one,
I still liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
It was fun. It was more of almost like a weird science
fiction,
like kind of goofy than it was a horror. But so the people that did that did Heart Eyes, and so we were all excited to see it, and we saw it. Finally.
Yeah, actually, Cam, you saw it first. And then you
said,
it's right up your alley, Jen.
I knew you guys
and Ron
would love it. But you guys had some trouble seeing it. I feel like you told that story last episode, or
I think
maybe briefly mentioned it. Not even worth talking about, but there's a little bit of a delay.
We had to go. We'll just say we had to go twice to actually see the movie, so it was a little weird, but
it was worth the wait.
So, initial reactions. I've been talking too much. Jen.
Well, I'm a sucker for themes. So any holiday related like horror movie / slasher movie is definitely right in my wheelhouse there. So I loved it. I thought it was great. And as you mentioned, I mean, we loved Happy Death Day. It was just really a fun movie, a fun slasher, if there is such a thing. And that's what I felt like this was. It was goofy and cheesy in all the right places. So yeah, I thought it was great.
And this was a PG-13. I actually personally thought it had quite a bit of gore for a PG-13.
I'm pretty sure it was R.
Was it? I thought it was PG-13.
No, I can't imagine with that decapitation at the end.
No, it says R-rated on the
thing. Oh, well, there you go. So which ones?
There's Happy Death Day is PG-13.
No, but there's some horror movie that we either just saw or are going to see that is PG-13. I don't know. But that's sort of more slapstick gore.
Right.
So it was fine.
Well, I think, Kim, you said you thought it wasn't gory enough.
Not that I didn't necessarily think it wasn't gory enough, but I was expecting a little bit more. I thought, especially if you'd watched the trailers, I saw the trailers a few times, thought all of the big kind of like kill scenes were spoiled in the trailer, and the rest of it was mostly either off screen or just really quick, like, but like all of the big set pieces I thought were very well done. I just was expecting more in between, and everything was super quick, which worked, but especially after Thanksgiving and Terrifier, it's almost like things are ramping up, and it almost feels like it's a little bit of a downward slope in terms of like slasher action, but this was much going for almost like a Hallmark movie.
Like a rom-com, kind of, yeah.
Like there was very much, like she was the main character, I forget what the character's name was, but
Allie McCabe.
Allie, she was she worked in like a marketing department, which was felt very like Hallmark. And,
definitely.
And the way she met the other protagonist there was very much like
the coffee
silly
shop situation,
right,
and all that,
and him
bumping into each other.
Mm-hmm. So that I think was very well done, and it struck a good balance. Like I know the writer, I think his name is Michael Kennedy, if I'm not mistaken. He did Freaky, which I thought was okay, but kind of fell short in a lot of ways, and almost felt like it wasn't parodying tropes as much as it was just leaning into them. And he also I think he did that Christmas It's a Wonderful Knife, which I didn't think was very good.
We haven't seen that one yet, because that was, I think, on our list. We did watch that other weird one with the gnomes and the
or something.
The
one that took place in Sweden. That was like a TV movie.
That was stupid, but I enjoyed that one. But
I enjoyed it too, but it was...
It's a Wonderful Knife was not that great. His writing feels a little bit too on the nose sometimes, but here I thought, just with the input, I'm sure, of Happy Death Day, it was the director of Werewolves Within, which we watched.
Oh, that was good.
And the writer
of TNT girl.
Yeah. The writer of Happy Death Day and Freaky, I think, together. So just you could tell that they all brought their kind of best aspects of each of their styles, and I think it ended up working very well.
Yeah, they definitely hit all the making fun of all the, both theatrical rom-coms and Hallmark movie tropes. 13 going on 30, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Like, it seems like a woman in a rom-com can not have any other occupation besides marketing or advertising. It's like that is the rom-com stereotype of the professional woman.
However, in this one, though, she doesn't fall in love with the small town veterinarian, and leave the city, in this case. Instead, they get in this wild chase where the killer is after them and believes that they're together.
Right, that
sees them on a romantic dinner. And I thought, some parts were just hysterical. They were constantly yelling back at the killer, and saying, "We're not together, we're not together." And I was like, every time they were trying to convince the killer that they weren't, like, she would do something kind or sweet for him, or vice versa to her, and I'm like, you're really not helping your case.
Right. What did you guys think about the reveal? Well, like with every slasher, there is tries to be original, tries to misdirect you from who the killer is. What did you guys think of how this one turned out? I was kind of like, okay, you really went around in circles trying to make it not anybody obvious.
Right.
And so I was a little bit underwhelmed, I guess I would say, with how it turned out. But what did you guys think?
Yeah, with a lot of these, and even Scream does
it's so hard to do.
Right, because
everything's been done.
And a lot of the time, these types of whodunit slasher movies, it'll either be a character that was so obvious, or someone that was in the background for one shot and it's hard to strike a balance. I agree it wasn't super satisfying, but the way that it just kind of, like, you almost expected there to be more of a reason for it, or like a revenge kind of thing, when it was just like, oh, we just like doing it kind of thing, which I thought was kind of a good subversion.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't really any greater commentary or anything behind it like you might expect. It was just like, they just kill people. And so in that way I liked it, but I do agree it's like, it's hard to pull that off, and now without it like going too far in one direction or the other. But I thought it was okay. It wasn't like mind-blowing, like, oh crap, but it worked for what it
immediately had me, and I guess we're getting into spoilers now. Spoiler alert!
I was just going to ask that. I'm like, are we going to give away anything? Because I wanted to say something.
Well, I'm not going to give any like obvious spoilers, but just sort of. But I would say what I wanted to say is, once they revealed who the responsible parties were, I had me immediately thinking about some of the backstory, and I'm like, okay, if they're here, and they played this role in the story up to now, how were they there? Like,
because he's like spanning the country kind of thing. He goes from city to city, so that
I was kind of like wasting some time, wasting some thought energy trying to figure out how that all worked out.
Right.
I think they left you enough breadcrumbs. At least I felt in the story that I was able to figure out who one of the responsible parties was going to be, and fairly well, I guess, about midway through. But yeah, no, I felt a little underwhelmed, I guess, at the big reveal. I mean, but then again, the last Scream movie that I saw, I felt the same way too, and they were like, oh, guess who the killer is? I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I feel like sometimes they get so involved in the movie, they just piece that last, who it's going to be, sort of
and it's always,
an afterthought.
Like in Scream, it always seems to have some kind of tie back to the previous movie or distant
like
past
member.
With some family member of somebody who, who was the killer or got wasted or whatever.
I actually could see this sort of taking a trend on, you know what I mean? Something like that as well, like where they might have a sequel or another one where it could be... I think it would be fun. Maybe we could do a different holiday. Maybe it'll be like Easter.
I wonder if they're... I think
4th of July.
Thanksgiving... I think it was the same studio that did Thanksgiving. I wonder if they're going to try to do a whole bunch of...
Oh, that would be cool. I liked that. The Thanksgiving one was good. We saw that.
There's supposed to be a sequel to that.
Or do we think Patrick Dempsey's going to be in it again?
I'd have to imagine, based on how the last one ended.
It was so weird seeing him in that type of role when we were watching it.
Right.
Speaking of that, what did you guys think of the cast in this? I mean, mostly the principals. I don't know.
Yeah, there wasn't too much of a supporting, or at least not that I can remember. I guess they had some friends that kind of got killed off.
Right.
But
Olivia Holt, I thought she was great.
I feel like I've seen her in a few things, and she's always pretty good.
We saw her in this, was it a Hulu show? Cruel Summer. Which,
that's right.
She was the girl who got kidnapped in Cruel Summer, and she was really good in that. And that had a big, like, crazy twist. The thing that disappointed me about that show, I think it's ultimately got canceled, but we thought there was going to be a season 2 that continued the same story, but it turned into one of those like anthology shows where, and I was like, okay, who cares, And she also was in. I know she goes back to being a Disney person, but she was also in Cloak and Dagger.
Cloak and Dagger?
Yeah.
I thought I remember her being in that. Huh.
And she was fine. I thought that show was like...
Yeah, I don't think I got
exhausting. This guy...
Apparently he's been in a bunch of stuff recently. I don't think anything
he was in Scream, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was, I think, I think his name was Chad. In Scream.
He's Jay in this, and I mean, I thought he did a great job. I think he's very cute, Lily's on the hard eyes, so to speak.
There you go.
But no, I thought they had good dynamic in their character relationship in the movie. Like, it was just they were goofy but sort of romantic, and then sort of mad at each other. And I liked how they kind of played it off, and I thought it was good.
His performance was fine. I thought his character was strange. Like, I thought he was too like. He didn't seem like, he seemed a little, I don't know what the word is for it. Like some of his stuff, I'm like, is that really dreamboaty to me? I thought like when he talked about how he felt about relationships and all this stuff and that he was into, I was like, it seems a little odd to me, but what do I know? I'm not a girl.
I thought it was kind of more.
It made me think he was going to be the killer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Right.
I'm like, he's just got some really quirky, to me, traits.
Well, I think that, like, probably trying to be a little bit of a misdirection to make you think that he has a reason for being the killer.
And he was painted as more of like a softer character, where Olivia Holt's character was the one who was against falling in love and all of that to begin with. So I thought they kind of did it on purpose to make him seem softer and her seem a little harder.
Right.
That might have been exactly it. They wanted her to be the strong, silent type, and him to be the goofy, romantic. Which is, I guess, they pulled it off. It worked on me.
And then we can't forget about Hobbs and Shaw. We have to talk about that.
That was so funny.
The detectives.
I love that.
And Jordana Brewster, doesn't she play Paul Walker's wife in the Fast and Furious movies too?
Oh yeah, I think you might be right.
Oh, I don't know. Is that what she's from?
I haven't seen any.
Well, she was in a bunch of teen horror movies in the late '90s, early 2000s. I think that's where she got her start.
Maybe that's why they had cast her then.
Right.
Yeah. I think she is that person from the Fast and Furious movies. And there was one scene I can't remember where they were either sitting at dinner when they first started getting chased, when they were talking and they ended up like reciting lines out of a song, like word for word in their dialogue.
Oh yeah.
Like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was a couple of cool things like that.
Oh, no kidding.
I do have to see it again. It's been a little while, and I did want to catch it at least one more time. I really like the Hard Eyes killer himself, just the look, the glowing eyes.
Yeah.
The very intimidating kind of mannerism.
Very well equipped, too.
Right.
Yes, we had crossbows and all kinds of creative...
shurikens and throwing knives.
Yep. Yeah, all kinds of belts and supplies. It was like very well.
And I do feel like I want to talk about the scene at the police station. I thought that was great. I thought they did such a great job. Like, it was they used all those like horror movie tropes. The lights go out, they can't see where the killer is, kind of thing, and all this crazy stuff happens. I thought it was just so like perfectly cheesily well done. Like, I really liked that scene. That stood out for me.
And poor Hobbs got it in the choppers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that was rough.
But they played his character to deserve it, kind of. So that was funny. It almost was that scene was almost a callback to Terminator, the first Terminator.
Oh yeah.
Scene.
Rampage. Yeah. Overall, I'd say very fun comedy slasher parody of rom-coms. So if you like any of that, definitely recommend it.
And it adheres to the horror rules of only being 90 minutes long. Well, 97 minutes.
When you get to the theater at the right time to see it.
Right.
In the first place.
Or they don't change the time and the theater.
Started early on you?
Started early. And then claim they didn't start it early. Whatever. So all in all, very enthusiastic thumbs up for Hard Eyes. It's a good one. Go see it.
It's actually available, I think, on demand now.
Yeah, probably. That sounds about right.
Go watch it so they can start filming the second one so we can watch it.
Hard Eyes 2. Hard Eyes meets Thanksgiving.